Hello YouTube, Jim Baker here from Month & Baker Tax Consultants, and I'm making this video today to go over a little bit about getting penalties abated for late filed Form 5472 and 5471. Now this relates back to Code Sections 6038 and 638A, B, there's a bunch of subsections on there. But basically if you don't file these forms or you file them late, mostly if you file them late, the IRS assesses these automatic penalties, and they end up being civil penalties. So it's a little bit different than late payment or late filing penalties for like regular tax returns, which are regular IRS penalties. And these you work with the collections unit, you call the IRS and work with them. But with the civil penalties, it's simpler and it's a little trickier at the same time. So as we abate these penalties, we have to write letters to the to a different unit that has no phone. So if you have a reason, let me take a step back. To be able to request penalty abatement, you have to fall into a couple of criteria. So let me see if I can get on. Let me get on this page. Okay, so I'm just going on. I have some really good stuff on here. This is an old article, but the criteria remain the same. Oh, there we go. Like that. So no matter how you file it, you need to have two different ways to. Here you go. First time abatement is tough. They don't always do it, but we can get first time abatement if for penalty relief if the taxpayer hasn't been required to file a return. There's no prior penalties in the preceding 3 years with respect to the same module, and that will work for 5471 and potentially a 5472. I've requested it, but it's been tricky. I usually request it with first time penalty abatement and also reasonable cause, and I just put as many reasons as possible together so that we can get these penalties abated, because it's a big penalty and we don't want our clients to pay it. And usually they come to us after forgetting to file. It's not because we forgot to file, of course. So then there's reasonable causes, and there's a long list of different reasonable causes. Maybe you got bad advice, maybe you were sick, maybe you didn't know the company was there. Whatever the reason is, you have to provide all the support and convince the IRS that you have sufficient reasonable cause. And if you can convince them that you have reasonable cause, then they can abate the penalty. It's mostly to ensure that you're not doing it on purpose to try and hide money or hide information from them. That said, it's still kind of an arduous process because you have to work with the civil penalties unit, and that's just mailing letters, and they're taking forever right now. I have a penalty abatement I've been working on that I sent in maybe August or September of 2018, and right now, as of the recording of this video, we're in May of 2019, and they have issued no response. They're still reviewing the letter, and this was only like a 10-page response letter, really strong facts. I think it's an open shut case for my client for a reasonable cause, and we just haven't heard back, so this takes a long time. So I mean, the point of this video is just to let you know that it is possible to abate the 5472 penalties, and it's possible to abate them with either the first time abatement or the reasonable cause. However, when you're doing this, you need to make sure that you send your response timely. You don't want to try, you can't really try and abate the penalties after getting a notice from the IRS saying you have penalties and not doing anything for a year. They won't abate those penalties. You waited too long. So if you get a letter, let's start working on it right away. And also, if they say no, it's hard to get them to reopen it and say yes a second time. So that's why you want to make sure you do a real proper penalty abatement request the first time, because the penalties are large and it just would be terrible to have to pay these penalties, especially when you have a real good reason. You just didn't explain it the right way. So I guess reach out to us if you have these penalties and you need help getting them abated. I'm happy to walk you through the whole process, show you what we're writing, and get this addressed, and then just stay in touch with the IRS as best we can throughout the whole process to make sure that it's moving along. So if you have any questions or comments about the video, please leave comments below, questions below, and I'll try and answer them. I'll try and get back to most people. And like and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and happy to help with providing more tax content in the future. So I hope this was helpful, and good luck getting your penalties abated, and hopefully you just file on time. Thanks.